Good evening and welcome to Sunset News this Friday evening. As always, we bring you news, community stories, economics, weather, and sports. I am Glenora Shipura. In the news tonight, Executive Director in the Ministry of Health, Ben Nangombe, says the slow pace at which the Central Procurement Board of Namibia is moving to resolve the impasse regarding the highly contentious medical supply bid worth billions has presented the ministry with challenges in fulfilling its mandate. Speaking to Namibian Sun, Nangombe said the ministry was working with the CPBN and Procurement Policy Unit to fast-track the procurement of pharmaceutical and medical supplies. Despite the temporary suspension of the bid, the CPBN pulled the rug following a huge public outcry over the awarding of the bids, part of which was awarded to a 3-year-old company owned by businessman Shapwa Kanyama's company, Amnex Trading, which only employed 3 people on a permanent basis. The $650 million tender includes the supply of surgical gloves for $400 million, condoms for $111 million, and other medical supplies. This contract was part of the $2.8 billion batch of health tenders awarded by CPBN. Nangombe said it is a challenge when they don't have a long-term tender, but in the absence of that, they have to procure what they need. They have worked closely with the Central Procurement Board of Namibia and the Procurement Policy Unit to fast-track and enhance the procurement activities to ensure that the country has what it needs in terms of pharmaceuticals and medical supplies. Nangombe defended the bid despite the wide controversy it drew, saying it was the best way to ensure the security of supply of medical supplies for the ministry. Now, South Africa's Minister of Electricity, Kogisentsho Ramakokpa, has assured Mines Minister Tom Alwindo that Namibia will continue to receive electricity from that country, irrespective of power supply pressures being experienced. Ramakokpa met Alwindo to discuss ways Namibia and South Africa can collaborate in the green hydrogen space.
The visit really is just to say South Africa, as a neighboring country, we have a lot of collaborations, things that we are doing together, and energy is one of them. And this visit is even more important given the energy deficit that we have got, not only in South Africa, but definitely in the whole region. We all know that we don't have enough energy, especially electricity. And therefore the visit was really for us to start to think about how do we as a region then develop in a similar fashion in terms of now closing that deficit. You also know that not only are we still buying power from South Africa, we are also sharing infrastructure, especially the distribution infrastructure that we are sharing with South Africa, whether it's in terms of us getting power from them or maybe in terms of the power coming from here to South Africa. So we had discussion around the issue of the infrastructure, how to wheel electricity between the two countries. We also had a discussion around the development of the Kudu gas to power. That I think we are all familiar that we have been developing this gas to power with the Kudu gas. The discussion was around how South Africa can be part of that development.
Individuals who are alleged to have benefited from a tax refund scam totaling close to $830 million have asked Namibia Revenue Agency NAMRA to give them a 10 to 15-year time frame to repay tax monies owed to the tax collection agency. This follows efforts on the part of NAMRA to recover money owed to it and paid out as a consequence of the scam. The Tax Revenue Agency has given individuals identified 3 years to repay monies owed to it. The group, known as the Taxpayers Concern Group, and which represent the interests of 1,020 members affected, say the manner in which NAMRA is collecting paid out in the form of refunds places a financial burden on those who have been identified and must repay. The group's chairperson, Mumenga Kangwimine, said in a letter to NAMRA Commissioner Sam Shivute that the general feeling of misery among civilians epitomizes a prime facie evidence that their constitutional rights has been infringed upon. Now, over the last year, the mobile planetarium has traveled to over 100 locations in Namibia and has been visited by well over 10,000 people. Now it will return to the Namibia Scientific Society for those who missed the opportunity last time and those who want to learn more. While the first show on both days will be dedicated to gaining general information on our universe, Wednesday's second slot is an in-depth journey into our solar system. On Thursday at 7 p.m., the Namibia Night Sky will be presented up close. The venue is the hall of the Namibia Scientific Society, and donations are welcome. Registration is necessary, so if you don't want to miss out on this event again, make sure you head over to the Scientific Society of Namibia to book your spot. In our Story of the Day segment, we look at the seed for the future. Do stay tuned for the story.
Welcome to Active Kids, a daily TV show that sparks creativity, learning, and fun for young minds. With exciting activities and lessons, Active Kids inspires curiosity and a love for learning.
You face to the 15.
The perfect mix of play and education. Don't miss out on the fun. Tune into Active Kids on NTV every weekday at 10 o'clock and let the adventure begin.
Getting into our story of the day, the Seeds for the Future opening ceremony was held at the Namibia University of Science and Technology this morning. This year, the program is scheduled for the 21st to the 28th of August for 25 Namibian students to obtain valuable ICT knowledge developed by Huawei's headquarters.
Together here to witness the launch of the Namibia Seeds for Future 2023 program, which is another innovative initiative by Huawei to identify and develop talent in ICT. The Seeds for Future program is a global flagship corporate social responsibility program whose main aim is to cultivate local ICT professionals in the countries where it is operating. This is done by offering undergraduate students training on ICT technologies and solutions, and a first-hand working experience of the operations of the dynamic telecommunications company and Chinese culture. In this way, the program will cultivate local ICT talent, promote knowledge transfer, and improve the students' interests and understanding of the telecommunication industry. The Seeds for the Future program is in line with my ministry's digitalization strategy and our mission to provide an efficient national information communication technology delivery framework and maintain national cybersecurity. The program helps cultivate and pull together ICT professionals and students, thus boosting ICT industry growth, driving the development of different sectors, and contributing to lower employment rates over the long term. We are grateful to Huawei Telecommunication Technologies Namibia for this initiative.
Africa is set for a wave of debt for nature swaps. We get into this story in our economic news segment after the break.
Welcome to My.NA Cars, your ultimate destination for everything automotive.
I am your host, Diana Master.
Teamwork makes the dream work, right?
Discover the latest models, innovative technologies, and expert insights from our passionate hosts. Learn essential maintenance tips and get exclusive behind-the-scenes access to the automotive industry. Don't miss My.NA Cars on NTV every Thursday at 2100 hours. Tune in and ignite your passion for automobiles.
To another exciting episode of Ironwood Talk.
Dit is weer en vertel ook vir julle waar die vis heel moontlik kan byt.
Gabon has finalized Africa's first debt for nature swap in a deal expected to generate $163 million for marine conservation over the next 15 years, while reducing the interest rate on what it owes. David Doyles explores if other African countries will follow suit. Let's take a look.
Africa's first Debt for Nature swap, which will fund marine conservation in Gabon, has backers hoping for more such money-saving environmental deals. But some say there's room for improvement in the increasingly popular transactions. First, let's look at what they are. At their simplest, Debt for Nature swaps see a country's debt bought up by a bank or specialist investor and replaced with cheaper loans. A development finance credit guarantee or risk insurance helps bring the cost down. The savings are meant to fund conservation. Gabon, whose beaches and coastal waters are home to the world's largest population of endangered leatherback turtles, has switched $436 million of its international bonds to a new $500 million blue bond. It has a lower interest rate and longer maturity. That's expected to generate $163 million for marine conservation projects over the next 15 years. Gabon's President Ali Bongo has said the swap is an important moment for eco-friendly finance deals in Africa. Too often, talks of these new mechanisms remain just that, he said in a statement. But in this case, we have made it a reality. Bankers have said a handful of other African countries are also working on Debt for Nature deals, along with Sri Lanka and a clutch of Caribbean and Indian Ocean islands. US non-profit, the Nature Conservancy, advised Gabon's government on its deal. Head of Sustainable Debt, Slav Gachev, said the organization expects to do between 1 and 3 deals per year until 2030. Though he would not name any countries, he said eco-friendly swaps the Nature Conservancy advises on could total $10 billion by the end of the decade. But there are question marks over how Gabon's conservation promises will be enforced, says Andrew Stanners, investment director at Aberdeen. The emerging market investor holds some of Gabon's current bonds. Stanners said the Debt for Nature deal is brilliant from a fiscal point of view. The new bond comes with just over 6% interest, much cheaper than the 9 to 10.5% yield other bonds have been trading at. The US Development Finance Corporation has provided risk insurance. That's resulted in an AA2 investment-grade credit rating from Moody's for the blue bond, a full 14 notches above the Gabonese government's own junk CAA1 grade. But Stanners also questioned how the insurance would work if Gabon did one day default. Gregory Smith, a fund manager at M&G Investments, queried why Gabon Swap had seen just $95 million bought back from a bond that needs refinancing in 2025. That's compared to $405 million of its two 2031 maturing bonds. The transaction had offered the chance to eliminate this debt risk, he wrote on the Bond Vigilantes blog. But the risk remains.
Let's take a look at our economic indicators. The Namibian dollar trades against the British pound at 24.11, against the euro at 20.60, against the US dollar at 18.95. $2 Namibian and 60 cents gets you 1 Chinese yuan. On the commodities market, all major commodities went up except for gold at 0.16%. Brent crude oil is trading at 1.21%, going for $85.19 per barrel. After the break, we get into your international news.
We are so excited to be kickstarting your morning with entertainment. Everything was happening during this past weekend.
Yes.
Exciting news. Wow, no, she was killing it already.
In my opinion, I don't see anything wrong with him serving the full term.
as well as keeping you informed on the issues that you need to know happening in and around our country.
Now getting into our international news, a mining wasteland was turned into a riverside park. Reuters has more.
Located at one of the sources of the Qiantang River. Many years ago, the area was known as China's limestone capital because the rock was widely in several industries, including construction.
The limestone mines indeed were very important for us, but when they thrived, it was quite muddy and dusty here. Also, it's very close to the Qiantang River. We finally decided to abandon this old economic development path. We closed 16 calcium manufacturing factories, 165 limestone mines, and 201 production lines.
Next, the job was to restore the environment, and river trails were also cleared.
Fertilizer, the village sewage water, and industrial parks along the riverbanks polluted the water. We have invested billions of RMB to clear the riverbanks, set up sewage treatment, and closing factories. After years of efforts, this river is clean and meets the first-class drinking water standard.
Villagers nearby also recognize their own lives.
The water projects have reduced lots of flooding in this village. Also, when the ecosystem was restored, the beautiful scenery attracted many tourists and increased the villagers' income.
But how could the residents of Changshan, who relied on the limestone industry for employment, find new jobs?
We finally had to upgrade our industry after closing the limestone mines. We introduced some new and high-technology industries which would not pollute the environment. This is how the residents find new job opportunities.
Has finally been transformed into a place with rolling green hills and clear water. Its transformation is also helping raise awareness about the importance of ecological protection and the work done to restore one of the sources of the Qiantang River. Yang Shenshan, CGTN, Changshan, Zhejiang Province.
After the break, we get into your weather predictions.
Namibians are still safe.
Everywhere else, the Supreme Court said we are not going to rely on foreign judgments.
By all means, we try to not make journalists public figures, but at the end of the day, they are.
Very good evening. My name is Taiwan Jabela, your host.
With their Protestant offsprings.
But the implementation, like she's saying, is another thing.
Let's take a look at the weather predictions for tomorrow. Katima Mulilo can expect sunny weather with 15 degrees minimum and 34 degrees maximum. Oshakati can also expect sunny weather with 15 degrees minimum and 33 degrees maximum. Henties Bay can expect 11 degrees minimum and 17 degrees maximum, while Rehoboth can also expect a minimum of 11 degrees with a maximum of 26 degrees. After the break, we get into your sporting news.
Welcome to What's Cooking, where culinary passion meets expert insights.
Somebody must really want to cook and want to cook good food.
Immerse yourself in the bustling world of professional kitchens as top chefs create mouthwatering dishes. Join us for in-depth interviews as our host explores the experiences and expertise of our guest chefs. Don't miss out. Tune in to What's Cooking on NTV every Friday at 2100 hours and let the culinary adventure begin.
Good evening and welcome to the Sports on Sunset News, brought to you by Sports Wrap. African Stars captain Ronald Kashiyere has expressed confidence in his teammates ahead of the CAF Champions League preliminary round against Zambia's Power Dynamos in South Africa. The two sides will clash tomorrow at 3 p.m. at the Dobsonville Stadium in Johannesburg, South Africa. 4 teams remain standing in the Namibian Rugby Premier League, with FNB Wanderers taking on FNB Rehoboth and Trasco United taking on FNB Kudus in the semi-finals at the Hage Geingob Stadium tomorrow. In the women's game, history will be made tomorrow when the first semi-finals of the Namibian Women's Rugby League take place at the Hage Geingob Stadium. After years of inactivity, women's rugby was revived last year with some 7s and 10s tournaments taking place. Lastly, on the international front, England will face Spain in a massive All-European Women's World Cup final this weekend. The Lionesses booked their place in a maiden global showpiece in emphatic style on Wednesday afternoon, toppling co-host Australia in Sydney. That brings us to the end of your sports updates. Have a good weekend.
eTicket, your online ticket solution for events and event marketing, bringing you ease of mind and making sure that your event gets out there. For more information, contact events@nmh.com.na.
Welkom jullie, mijn naam is Brian Munango en ik is jullie aanbieder voor Gooi Kolen. Dit is donderdagse sportstrip nu. Einde van hierdie programma zal ik en hoe om Frans te praten. Je m'appelle? Je bent?
Le Jean. Is dit nou onderbroek?
Blijf geschakeld. We zien jullie weer vrijdag volgende week.
Gooi kolen!
Gooi kolen!
You're still watching Sunset News, and if you have just joined us, here are the news highlights from today's broadcast. Executive Director in the Ministry of Health, Ben Nangove, says the slow pace at which the Central Procurement Board of Namibia is moving to resolve the impasse regarding the highly contentious medical supply bid worth billions has presented the ministry with challenges in fulfilling its mandate. Individuals who are alleged to have benefited from a tax refund scam totaling close to $830 million have asked the Namibia Revenue Agency, NAMRA, to give them a 10 to 15-year time frame to repay tax monies owed to the tax collection agency. And with that, we've come to the end of the broadcast. Make sure you join Sunset News on Facebook, on all the NMID platforms on weekdays, as well as on our website, oneup2.com. Sunset News screens on DSTV channel 285 and GoTV channel 25 every weekday from 7:30 p.m. to 8 p.m. I am Glenna Rashipura, and this has been Sunset News. Don't end your day without us.